The rain ran down the cobblestones of the old stone street, as if even the sky mourned the absence of love in the world. Sitting beneath a torn awning, with a thin blanket over her shoulders, Donna Olivia kept her eyes half closed, watching in silence. With every hurried step of those who veered away from her, she grew more certain. The disguise was working. But Olivia Costa was no ordinary elderly woman. She was the matriarch of a billion-dollar pharmaceutical empire. For decades, she had led with a firm hand while raising her only son alone, who in turn had given her a single grandson, Raphael. The boy grew up among marble walls, elite schools, and butlers who knew more about him than his own parents. And contrary to what many expected, Raphael became a kind, fair man, but blind in one area: love. When he showed up saying he was engaged to a woman he'd met only a few months earlier, the grandmother felt a chill down her spine. Not out of immediate suspicion, but from instinct. And it was an instinct that had never failed her. "She's amazing, Grandma. Humble, beautiful, sweet. She said she'd never care about my money," he said, smiling like a child who still believed in the Easter Bunny. Donna Olivia smiled back. She didn't object. But that very night, she ordered old clothes to be made, removed the polish from her nails, stopped dyeing her hair, and vanished from home. For the first time in 40 years, she walked the streets without a driver, without bodyguards, without French perfume. She would spend the next few days as someone invisible, someone nobody bothers to notice. The neighborhood she chose was the one where her future granddaughter-in-law lived, a district in the midst of gentrification, where old buildings stood alongside trendy cafes and upscale boutiques. It was where Amanda lived, the beautiful fiancée of her grandson. Amanda was 28 years old with impeccably straight hair, a striking presence, and a smile that, at first glance, seemed sincere. She worked as a manager in a clothing store but claimed to prefer a simple life. 2 dates had been enough for Raphael to fall for her, 2 months were enough for him to propose, and one single afternoon was enough for Olivia to decide she needed to see for herself whether that smile could survive the oldest test in the world, the test of character. On the third day of her disguise, Olivia sat near the entrance of the store where Amanda worked. The wind cut through the skin like blades, but she didn't move. She watched. She took mental notes. Amanda arrived at 9, always well-dressed, coffee in hand, phone pressed to her ear. She walked past everyone, including the beggar sitting to the right of the entrance, as if they were lampposts. Never a glance. Never a good morning. But that Friday, everything changed. It was the end of the workday, when a real blind elderly woman tripped and fell on the sidewalk. Bystanders stepped away. Some laughed, others pretended not to see. Amanda hesitated too. But then she looked around, saw that people were watching, and rushed to the woman. She helped her up, called a taxi, and posed for a photo taken by a teenager on his phone. That night, the image went viral on Instagram. "Elegance manager shows compassion," read the caption. Olivia, still dressed in rags, saw the scene from a distance. But she noticed a detail no one else did. Amanda handed the woman's glasses back with a hint of impatience, sighed as she said goodbye, and then smiled for the camera like a seasoned actress who knows exactly when she's being filmed. Was it kindness or performance? The next day, Olivia made a riskier decision. She would approach Amanda, not as a grandmother, not as an observer, but as someone in need. She put on the same tattered blanket, dirtied her shoes a little more, carried a paper bag filled with empty bottles, and when Amanda left the building where she lived, Olivia dragged herself toward her, coughing and asking for a coin. Amanda looked at her for a long moment, then rolled her eyes. "Lady, this isn't a place to beg. Go somewhere else, okay?" She turned and walked away with firm steps. That night, for the first time in many years, Olivia cried, but not out of disappointment in the girl. She cried for Raphael, for the grandson she loved so deeply, for the man about to hand his heart to someone who only knew how to be kind when someone was watching. She still didn't know what she would do about it, but one certainty was growing inside her like a silent thunder. The love my grandson deserves is not revealed by the beauty of a face, but by the beauty of a gesture. And in the silence of the night, under the same torn awning, Olivia planned her next step. Because that test was only just beginning. Amanda applied her lipstick for the third time that morning. Carmine red, the shade she had learned early on to use as armor. She looked at herself in the mirror with the determination of someone who had been taught never to show weakness. Since childhood, she'd heard that the world wasn't a place for those who cried, it was for those who commanded. And she was determined to be someone who commanded. She was born in a rough neighborhood where women had two choices: accept the little they had or pretend they were worth a lot until the world believed it. Amanda chose the latter. With a history of paternal abandonment and a bitter mother who often said, "No one is worth trusting," she made a vow to herself. She would only love someone who could take her out of that reality. And Raphael appeared like a blessing wrapped in an Italian suit. During their dates, she was gentle. At dinners, she knew exactly what to say. She never asked about money, and that enchanted Raphael. But the truth was, she knew every contract his company signed, followed his every move on social media, read between the lines of his interviews, and waited, patiently, for the moment she would become Mrs. Costa. That morning, she received a message from Raphael. "Love, tomorrow I want to introduce you to my grandmother. She disappeared for a few days, but it looks like she's coming back. She's going to love you." Amanda froze. She knew the grandmother was the true head of the empire. That woman had a reputation for being tough, traditional, and despising anyone who smelled of interest. Amanda took a deep breath. She needed to prepare. She needed to seem perfect. Meanwhile, across the city, Donna Olivia was still living under the disguise of Marina, a woman without a home, without a last name, and now, with a new plan. She began frequenting the same places Amanda did: cafes, bus stops, pharmacies, and even an organic market where the young woman often bought flowers to decorate her apartment. Every day, she created small tests. She asked for help with a shopping cart. She was ignored. She dropped a roll of fake money near the store. Amanda saw it, picked it up, and kept it. She tried handing Amanda a note with a Bible verse. Amanda crumpled it without reading. But on the sixth day, something different happened. As Amanda exited a beauty salon, she saw an old woman, Olivia, of course, being shoved by a group of teenagers who mocked her. For a brief moment, Amanda's eyes changed. She hesitated and ran toward the commotion. "Hey, leave her alone! Don't you boys have mothers?" The kids fled. Amanda looked at the beggar and said, anger in her voice, "Wandering around rich neighborhoods like this, what do you expect? No one wants poor people here." And she walked away without even asking if Olivia was okay. That night, Olivia wrote a letter. She didn't know if she would ever send it, but she wrote something she hadn't put into words for years. "Dear Raphael, not everything that shines is gold. Sometimes what glitters too much is just reflecting someone else's light. I tested your fiancée. She failed. But my greatest pain is knowing that maybe, if I had taught you to look beyond a smile, you would have seen it yourself." She placed the letter in an old wooden box, alongside childhood photos of Raphael, and laid down on the cold floor. But that night, she had an impossible dream. Amanda crying like someone who had truly regretted something. The next morning, Amanda's phone rang. "Hello, this is Dr. Vinicius, director of the San Clemente Care Home. Your name is on our volunteer list. I'm just calling to confirm your presence today." Amanda was about to hang up immediately. She had no idea how her name ended up there. But then she remembered Raphael mentioning that his grandmother loved social projects. That could be useful. "Of course," she replied. "I'll be there." That afternoon, Amanda arrived at the care home wearing sunglasses, French perfume, and high heels. She walked as if on a runway, but when she entered the elderly ward, she saw a figure sitting in a wheelchair, reading a book. It was Marina, the beggar. Amanda's heart skipped a beat. You," she stammered. The old woman looked at her through patched glasses and, with a calm smile, said, "I'm glad you came, pretty girl. I thought you'd never look me in the eyes again." Amanda swallowed hard. I don't understand. Do you live here?" "Number. But sometimes I come here to remember who I am. among those nobody else wants to see. And in that moment, something broke inside Amanda, like a mirror cracking, not on the outside, but deep within. She left in silence, but she never forgot that look. A look that didn't judge her, but saw beyond her mask. That night, Amanda didn't post a photo, didn't go out with friends, didn't answer Raphael's calls. She just cried, for the first time in years. Not because she was being tested, but because for the first time, she had begun to test herself. The morning was especially quiet when Raphael arrived at the family estate, eager for breakfast with his grandmother. It had been over a week since she had disappeared without warning. But in the early hours of the day, he'd received a short message in his inbox. "I'll be home tomorrow. Bring Amanda. Time to meet her. Grandma." The tone was dry, direct, as always. But something felt different, as if each word carried a weight he couldn't yet understand. Amanda, contrary to expectations, was restless. She didn't smile when Raphael arrived. She dressed modestly without heavy makeup. And for the first time since they met, she refused a gift, a sapphire necklace he had bought just a few days before. "Raphael, can I ask you something?" she said as they walked up the stairs of the house. "Of course, love, anything. When we're with your grandmother, let me speak. Alone." He looked at her, surprised, but he agreed. In the main hall, Donna Olivia was seated in her brown leather armchair, surrounded by old books and family portraits. She was dressed again as the matriarch everyone knew, but in her eyes there was a weariness that even time couldn't explain. "Raphael," she said upon seeing him, "thank you for coming." He rushed to her, embracing her warmly. "Grandma, you vanished. I was worried. I needed to see a few things with my own eyes. But now I'm here, and I want to meet the woman who stole your heart." Amanda stepped forward with hesitant steps. She extended her hand. "Mrs. Costa, call me Olivia." A long silence followed, broken only by the ticking of the grandfather clock. "Raphael, my dear," Olivia said, "would you mind giving us a few minutes alone?" Raphael hesitated. "But, just a few minutes. We'll call you soon." He nodded, confused, and left. As the door closed, Amanda slowly sat down. "You were the beggar." "Yes." "Why?" "Because what my eyes saw when you smiled at my grandson wasn't enough. I needed to see who you were when no one was watching." Amanda lowered her gaze. "So you tested me?" "Yes, and I saw more than I expected. I saw pride, but also remorse. I saw contempt, but later I saw compassion, and above all, I saw that you're still struggling with who you are." Amanda swallowed hard. "I grew up without love, without hope. I thought I needed to win over someone like Raphael to prove I was worth something. And are you?" "Today, I'm not sure." Olivia stood up. She walked to an old dresser, opened a drawer, and took out an envelope. Inside is the updated family will. I had everything arranged for Raphael to inherit my empire with the woman he deemed right. But I've changed my mind. Now he will only inherit it if the woman beside him is someone capable of seeing the invisible." Amanda looked at her tense. "I didn't come for the inheritance." "No? Then why did you suddenly want to volunteer at the care home?" Amanda blushed. "At first, yes, it was out of interest. But later, I saw something there. Something in me that I myself no longer recognized." Olivia stepped closer and lightly touched the young woman's hand. "The world teaches women to seduce with what they have on the outside. But the ones who leave a mark on history are those who captivate with what they carry in their soul. You want me to break up with him? Number, I want you to decide. But decide out of love, not out of status. If you stay by his side, you'll have to live as if you never knew about my wealth. And never, ever can you use our family's power for personal gain. Not for yourself, not for anyone else. Are you willing?" Amanda remained silent for long seconds. "And if I say yes, but lie?" "I'll know," Olivia said with a firm smile. "I've already seen you when you thought no one was looking. Now I just want to see if you can live up to what's starting to bloom inside you." At that moment, Raphael entered, anxious. "Everything okay?" Olivia looked at Amanda, who remained silent. Then the grandmother stood up and said, "Raphael, she's beautiful. but you need to learn to hear what isn't said, to look beyond beauty. Time will reveal if her heart is worthy of yours." Raphael smiled, unaware of the depth behind those words, and Amanda, for the first time, felt like she no longer wanted to pretend. 3 months had passed since Amanda's conversation with Donna Olivia. That day, something invisible had been planted between them, a seed of truth, uncomfortable, unpredictable, but alive. Amanda continued her relationship with Raphael, but turned down his invitation to move in with him. She said she needed time. For the first time, he didn't insist. He sensed that her glow had changed, less theatrical, more human. During those weeks, she dedicated herself to shifts at the care home. She washed dishes, combed fragile hair, and listened to repeated stories with newfound attention. And little by little, without noticing, the mask she had always worn began to fall. It wasn't strategy, it was exhaustion. She was tired of performing, tired of seducing, tired of chasing love like someone hunting for a prize she had never earned. Donna Olivia, on the other hand, watched from afar. Without interfering, she simply waited, because she knew that character doesn't appear all at once. It matures in silence. It was on a cloudy afternoon that everything changed. Amanda received a call from Raphael. His voice was shaky. "Love, my grandmother collapsed. She's in the hospital." She rushed there. Upon arriving, she found Raphael with red, yet calm eyes. "She's fine," he said, "but she needs rest. And she asked to see you, alone." In the room, Amanda found Olivia pale, but with eyes still as steady as ever. "I didn't call you here to say goodbye, Amanda. I came to give you something." The elderly woman held out a small wooden box. No decorations, no lock. Inside, there was only an old key and a handwritten note. "Not all inheritance comes in wealth. Some are made of choices." Amanda furrowed her brow. "What is this?" "A house, small, in the countryside, where I lived with my husband before all of this became an empire. It's in your name now. I want you to go there and understand what I truly expect from someone who wishes to love my grandson." The following weekend, Amanda took a bus. No chauffeur, no designer bags, no makeup, just her, whole for the first time. The house was simple, doors creaking, walls with the scent of aged wood, and a porch overlooking an open field. Above the fireplace, old photos of a young Olivia beside a man with tender eyes, Raphael's grandfather. And there, among the aged furniture, was a diary, the diary from Donna Olivia's youth. Amanda spent the night reading it, passages about hunger, about working as a seamstress to pay for her son's college, about sleepless nights caring for Raphael while her son ran from responsibility, about the loneliness of those who lead alone, and in the end, a single request written in trembling handwriting. "If one day someone wishes to be part of my family, may they not desire my wealth, but what it cost me." The next morning, Amanda returned to the city, her eyes swollen from so much crying, but her soul light. She found Raphael at the front of the mansion. He looked pensive. "I was just about to go get you. I had to go alone," she said. "And now, I need to tell you something." Raphael swallowed hard. "I love you," she began, "but I'm not going to marry you. Not now." "Why?" "Because only now am I discovering who I am without the need to be admired. And you deserve someone whole, not someone still rebuilding herself. Maybe one day, I'll come back. But if I do, it won't be for your grandmother or your name. It'll be just for you." She kissed him on the forehead and walked away. Raphael stood there heartbroken, but somehow at peace. Donna Olivia, watching from the window, smiled. "Now, yes, now I've seen the gold no one else can see." Months later, the media reported Olivia Costa had sold 70% of the company, donated half of her fortune, and turned her old mansion into a shelter for women in life transition. The world was stunned, but she, at peace, simply said, "Inheritances are not meant to sustain empires. They are meant to free destinies." And as for Amanda, she returned to that house in the countryside, made it her home, opened a small sewing studio, and wrote a book about choices, pride, and truth. She titled it, "The Heart Worth More Than Gold." And in the dedication, she wrote only, "For Olivia, who saw me before I even existed."